just how I feel about safety in your vehicle while it's not turned on.
So Wes is back.
Hey, everybody.
Probably for like the last time in a while, at least in these videos.
Yeah, no, it's been a time. So.
Yeah, so we'll find something for you to do. Anyway.
All right.
That was unnecessarily creepy. We just started, man.
I'm Wes. I'm back. Cue the unnecessarily creepy.
On that note. So, we are here on a nostalgia trip. We just got out of Ghostbusters.
Yes.
I don't care how many times I see this movie, I will always just love it.
It's a great movie. It's got those amazing visual effects that really don't span the test of time.
I don't know, the ectoplasm beams actually still kind of hold up okay.
The beams are all right. Nearly
the dogs
everything.
don't.
Yeah, the dogs don't. The ghosts really don't.
At the same time, if they did it today, it wouldn't be much better.
It's true. It's very true.
At least this one is tame. Give it that much.
Yep.
I was like, no, like Ghost. I guess we should talk about our own relation to Ghostbusters. I adore the original movie, not so much the sequel, but I adore the original movie. I've watched it a million times. I know pretty much all the lines. I know way too much trivia about it. I love Ghostbusters. I never watched the cartoon. I didn't watch the cartoon, but...
All right. I watched a lot of the cartoon. I am crazy about the sequel. The first one is excellent, but I like the sequel more.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, you're breaking my heart, man.
Come on. You've got, like, crazy ghosts and baby shit going on.
It just did the same shit as the first movie.
Evil paintings.
Okay, I like the evil painting. I'll give it that.
The evil painting was great. Lowering Ray down into the sewer. Come on, there's some great moments. One of my all-time favorite Bill Murray lines is in Ghostbusters 2.
Okay, which one was that one?
It's I'm forgetting her name now.
Sigourney Weaver's character?
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver's character and him are there with the baby, and she notes that it's really late, and he goes, oh yes, can I put him down? And she goes, okay, and hands the baby to Bill Murray. He takes her and goes, you're a burden on your mother, your belly button sticks out too much. And I'm just like, Bill Murray just said this to a baby. That is amazing.
Well, to be fair, anything Bill Murray goes, like, I give Bill Murray a pass no matter what he's in.
It's true. As I told you before the movie started tonight, there are only 2 Bill Murray movies I have not gone and seen in theaters since I became aware of Bill Murray. Those are the Garfield movies.
I've actually seen the first Garfield.
Oh, man.
Even his cameo in Zombieland was great.
Yes, I saw that like yesterday.
You just now finally watched Zombieland?
No, I own it.
Oh, okay. I
sat down and watched it again yesterday.
I watched it like not too long ago myself.
I start celebrating Halloween really early.
It's my birthday, so I kind of do too.
Really?
You didn't know that?
I had no idea Halloween was your birthday.
Halloween's my birthday.
All right.
Yeah, so
well,
hopefully someone can give me a gift this year.
I'm just going to get you a bunch of like fun-sized candy. I'm not even going to lie. But I'm going to give it to you like a day late so I get a discount.
So, okay, I'm gonna warn you right now. This video is probably not gonna have much of a point, but it's mostly just us talking, shooting shit, and talking about Ghostbusters.
Yeah, pretty much, exactly.
And if that's what you're in for, yeah, we're not gonna go over the plot. It's fucking Ghostbusters. If you watch this movie, you should know the fucking plot.
It came out 30 years ago. That's why it's in theaters.
I see what you did there. Gonna roll that a little bit. It's a little stuffy in here.
I do have that effect, you know. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but yeah.
I can't wait for when people start writing fan fiction. It's gonna be amazing.
About this?
You never know, man.
God, I hope not. At the same time, if anyone writes it, please link it in the comments.
I would totally do dramatic reading of that. I totally would.
Yes, I would.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, Ghostbusters. It's one of those movies I've watched over and over again, and I just noticed like just little things. Some of them point out to me, other things I've noticed on my own, of just like little side jokes or just little things that you just did not notice before about the characters. It's like it's kind of interesting, but when you look back at the Ghostbusters, it's not necessarily like a laugh out loud comedy, but for some reason it's just really fun.
Exactly. It's not that it's the greatest comedy ever. It's that it's really fun. The first one, I feel like the second one is actually a little bit scarier and yet also funnier than the first one.
I'll say I disagree. I thought the second one really just kind of basically it had a few plot points that really just annoyed the crap. It just annoys me in any movie, and I was really annoyed that Ghostbusters did it.
Okay.
It's the whole, we're gonna split them up and make some bullshit excuse as to why, and then we know they're gonna get back together in the end. Stop wasting my time.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, I hate when sequels go backwards instead of forwards. Like,
it's true.
And that kind of, and I thought the jokes weren't as funny. I thought the characters weren't as connected as they were. That's what I love about this movie too, is like all the characters have such great chemistry together and they work so well off each other. Like, of course, Bill Murray is Bill Murray, but
he's Bill Murray. He can work with anybody. So
of course you got Ray and Egon, who just by themselves would make a great comedy. But
yeah, I mean, I'm really entertained by the fact that the same guy produces and directs Ghostbusters.
Dan Aykroyd.
And Dan Aykroyd wrote and starred in actually both the movies.
Yeah.
So it's one of the rare occasions where the guy who wrote it stars in it, and that I find it to be an amazing movie.
Yeah, it is
I'm
hard.
like, wow, that was about that guy. Yeah. He couldn't find a movie, so he wrote one.
I don't know what you're talking about. The Room was amazing.
Oh my.
He wrote, directed, produced, and starred in that movie. He did a hat trick on that motherfucker.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's like it is a clever concept. It is a clever story. That's another thing. Like, it's like great characters, great story, and just great atmosphere. Like everything about this movie really is just fucking great. And there's just a bunch of little side things you can notice too. Like I mentioned this. There's a part where when the first commercial pops on, you can see Egon looking down to see his mark where he's supposed to be standing in the commercial, and just like, and I did not notice that until I saw the Channel Awesome video that pointed that out to me. It's like, oh, or like when he's looking to. Bill Murray is trying to figure out how much to charge him, and he's looking over at Egon, he's holding like 4 fingers. Like, oh, we'll charge $4,000 for that, and he holds out 1 finger. He says, oh, we'll charge that for $1,000. Have you ever noticed that?
I had not realized that.
Yeah.
I love looking for the mark. It's a great example of good acting of bad acting. You know?
Well, it just goes with, like, they're so encapsulating their characters. Bill Murray's playing Bill Murray. We all love him for
exactly.
it,
But, I mean, he really shows there is diversity in the performance of Bill Murray. Bill Murray in the 80s is pretty much a single role. But if you look at him from there, he does grow. And he does...
I love... Like, Bill Murray is a legitimate very good actor.
Exactly.
Lost in Translation is one of my favorite movies. So,
nice.
So I adore that man. As I've said several times. Him and John Goodman are just...
Yes.
Are crying out to my heart. But anyway.
Oh, they're both amazing. Those two... Jim Carrey's grown a little old on me, I'll admit.
Really? Okay. I think he's a legitimately good, serious actor he wants to be. I think he's lost his comedic edge.
There are some movies that I don't enjoy him as much on. But, I mean, those three, and of course, Robin Williams.
Oh, of course. May rest in peace.
Absolutely. But those four have had a greater influence on me than probably any other four comedians I grew up with.
Now, like, I would agree, like, Bill Murray, I think, much of my older teen years did have more effect on my comedic style. Robin Williams, my first major influence growing up.
Of course.
That's why I talk so fast. But, no, seriously, that's kind of where it came from. It's like, wow, he talks really fast, and he's coming to talk so much fly. I want to do that! So, clearly my entire YouTube career is based off ripping off other people's acts, as is expected.
Yes.
But, no, Bill Murray he has just that great dry sarcasm, and it just instantly just hilarious. And like, I think I mentioned this while we were seeing the movie, is like, I think of the director, or maybe it's Dan Aykroyd, I don't know, just someone thought he was just really funny when he was just slightly irritated. So they would go out of their way to make Bill Murray just a little pissed off because they thought his performance was funnier when he just had that dry, I'm really pissed off right now feel to it.
Nice.
So when, like, in the movie, you watch the movie, like, especially, like, the hotel scenes, when he looks just, like, really just fucking, like, I can't believe I'm doing this shit. That's really just because they were fucking with him for the entire production.
Awesome.
Like, they made his proton pack just a little heavier than everyone else's, just because they think, okay, we're gonna have some fun with him, basically.
Right? So, Bill Murray, we could probably sit here and talk for over an hour about Bill Murray.
Of course we could.
And, you know, there may come a day when we do. But it's funny because they have all these like urban legends behind you have the Chuck Norris jokes and all this, but then you've got the Bill Murray stories. And the best thing about the Bill Murray stories is most of them I really want to believe are true.
I honestly do think a lot of them are true, to be honest.
There's the classic about the guy who goes to Wendy's and orders, and Bill Murray comes up and takes a French fry, eats it, and tells him, "No one will ever believe you,"
and then walks away.
And like, I swear, if I ever became, you know, famous, whatever, I would purposely make a point multiple times a week to go to random fast food places and do this to people. Like, just because it's funny, you know? Or that, you know, he doesn't have an agent. And all he actually does is he pays to have a toll-free number where you can call and pitch your movie. And if he likes it, he'll call you back.
That's great.
I'm just like, that's amazing.
Or how I'll walk up behind random strangers, cover their eyes, and say, "Guess who?" You haven't heard that one, I take it?
I have not.
Or the time he went to a bar and just started mixing drinks for everyone and kept taking everyone's order, he'd make them all the same thing. Or the time he went to a random bar and walked out with 3 beautiful women and it was on the news blog.
I wouldn't put that past at all. Yeah. No.
Anyway, again, we can talk about Bill Murray all we want. There are more things to talk about here than Bill Murray.
No, there's some great stuff to this movie. Find me a kid who was born, I'll say more than 15 years ago, but less than 30.
Okay.
Who didn't want to own a proton pack.
Yeah, pretty much. Even now, I want to own a proton pack.
I do too. Like, I still think that is the greatest, like, lost chance on merchandising. A proton pack super soaker. Right? Like, every kid ever would want to own that.
That's such a good idea.
It's the backpack squirt gun that every kid wants anyway, and you design it like this, like the proton packs. Why don't we have that? Well, why don't I own it? Take my money.
Well, it's like looking back at it now too. It's like I never knew this was a PG movie until like again I watched the honest trailer version of this like earlier today.
Okay,
and I was like, this was PG.
No, I hadn't realized that. You told me this. I'm like, what?
There's ghost blowjobs in this movie.
There's language in this movie that would get you pushed to PG-13.
I know they say
today.
They say shit several times. They put out Dick and Pecker at one point.
Exactly.
Even though Pecker's like a blink and you'll miss it joke.
If you made this movie today, you couldn't get PG.
Oh no, you couldn't even get this movie made the way it is. To be honest, there's no way they let it make it.
No, that's just That's
the thing. Like if this was made today, it would be horrible. Because you know what they do? They'd cast Jack Black and Seth Rogen and involve a lot of drugs and stupid sex jokes. It wouldn't have any of the charm of this one.
You'd have a ghost in the pot smoke scene, guaranteed.
You'd have like that Ben Stiller alien hunting movie mixed with the Green Hornet, and that's what a remake of Ghostbusters would be today. You laugh, but you know I'm absolutely 100% correct.
You probably are, which is really sad.
And that's like, I'm one of those people like, no, leave Ghostbusters alone. Because I keep hearing talks like, oh, Ghostbusters is gonna happen. I don't want it to happen. Leave it alone. Let it die. It's okay to let a franchise die. Bring back fucking Hellraiser if you bring back anything, but just leave Ghostbusters alone.
I think that what they should do is just start remaking horrible movies.
The Room.
Just be like, this movie was terrible. Let's redo it. It can't get worse. Or can it?
Birdemic.
You know?
I would love to see a remake of Birdemic.
Right? Like,
With a high Hollywood budget. It'd be amazing. And I would be there opening day with cheap little eagle flags.
I grew up on some horrible movies that were definitely more mature than my age range should have been. I mean, there were some classics. Breakfast Club, Terminator 2, you know, these sorts of things that are really great movies, but just shouldn't be shown to an 8-year-old. But I mean, I also,
This explains a lot, Wes.
there were also some terrible movies. The Last Dragon, which...
I barely remember. I barely have any recollection of that, to be honest.
So The Last Dragon was a martial arts movie made about this guy, is a African-American guy named Leroy Green, who's so into martial arts and everything that everyone in his, Harlem neighborhood calls him Bruce Leroy.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's basically an 80s martial arts movie revolving around... It's you could probably call it blaxploitation. I mean... There's some great movies. There's some great scenes to it all, but it's not a great movie. Reba Williams' The Adventure Begins, particularly great because it never continues. It's the only one in its series, and it's one of the most racist movies I've ever seen. It's also, numerous parts, very funny.
Does anyone ever say that's a big Twinkie in there? Because I feel like...
No, they don't say that's a big Twinkie in there. They don't. You do, however, have a white guy playing a extremely racist Korean man. Like, he's done up, and you can tell it's a horribly made mask to make him look Asian.
So is Ralph Schneider?
But the entire time, he is judging everyone else on the fact that they are not Korean. And it's very confusing. And he's not one of the bad guys.
You are talking about Ghostbusters, right?
No, this is Reba Williams' The Adventure Begins. So, yeah, horrible movies. But,
the 80s.
You know,
remaking
these things, it couldn't get much worse.
Now, I kind of wish I grew up in the 80s, just because that was when movies hit their peak of ridiculousness before the 2010s.
I've been saying it for years. The best part about growing up in the 90s was 80s cartoon reruns.
Like which ones? I'm sure I've seen plenty of them, but
probably the biggest for me had to be Thundercats.
Oh, Thundercats! I actually didn't watch Thundercats, but
oh man, I
watched Boomerang a lot. So I watched a lot of Super Friends and Godzilla cartoon.
Yes,
with Kazuki. Kazuki. Wah wah.
Oh man.
I was a huge Godzilla fanatic, but still am.
The giant monster movies never caught me. But anyway, let's hop back to Ghostbusters.
Speaking of giant monsters,
the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Oh god, that will never get old. The effects of that actually still hold up pretty well, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's entertaining. It's a great, use of miniatures and whatnot.
I will say this, but there were some parts of the original Ghostbusters, I will admit, I never really clicked with me. I always felt the pacing on the finale was really just kind of weird.
It is. It doesn't quite line up.
Again, compared to what they were doing back then to what they would do now, that would never fly in today's movies.
Right?
I mean, either one can really work depending on what's done. I always thought Ghostbusters pacing on that was a little weird. It's almost like it was didn't feel like it was really building up to anything, and yet it was, and it didn't.
Exactly. It's the whole thing was strange, but I still feel like the greatest way to handle the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man would have been to call in a couple guys with flamethrowers and a lot of stoned out college students.
That would have been a sight. That would be done in today's fucking Hollywood.
Exactly. They're just suddenly
throwing me Franco, we need to get rid of this giant marshmallow.
I got this, man.
That's exactly how we fucking go. That's really depressing.
On the other hand, I'd love to see, you get a very dark take on, if you did a Ghostbusters remake and, You get like Guillermo del Toro and Mike Mignola in on it to put like a Hellboy BPRD approch on Ghostbusters.
Even then, I don't think that would feel like Ghostbusters.
It wouldn't, but it'd be awesome.
That being said, I would like to see Guillermo del Toro's interpretation of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Right? Or Slimer?
Or Slimer. Oh, God. Slimer would be horrific. Stay Puft would just have like 2 eyes holding his hands.
Oh, man, no.
No, this is it's basically just shooting the shit talking about Ghostbusters.
Exactly, so...
Oh, this is so not your average review.
Their car, the Ghostbusters mobile, or whatever they call it.
What kind of hearse has a siren?
So, the old ambulances were actually the same models as the hearses.
Oh, seriously?
Yes, you gotta go back to, like, the 70s. But it definitely happened and all, and... If you go looking these days, there's a couple of decades where you have to really pay attention to the model to know if it's a hearse or an ambulance.
The siren helps.
The siren does help. If it has a light bar, and if it doesn't have the funeral bars along the side, then it's probably an ambulance.
Probably. That's the most epic funeral ever.
Yes. This is definitely years later, when I found an interest in wanting to own a hearse, I definitely look back on this movie and I'm like, yeah,
that's probably what
this probably started a lot of my fascination with things. These days I'm obsessed with Mike Mignola and Hellboy, BPRD, Abe Sapien, all of that, and a lot of it could probably be drawn back to Ghostbusters.
I just realized the irony of having like a hearse car in a Ghostbusters movie. Like that never clicked with me until now. It's like that joke in the movie where Bill Murray's like, "All right, grab your sticks, heat them up, make them hard." I never got that joke until earlier today.
Awesome.
When it was directly pointed out to me, that was a sexual innuendo. And I was like, motherfucker, how did I never catch that?
Right.
Oh, there's just a lot of shit like that. Like, if you look closely, you can see like a bunch of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man advertisements all over the place.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it's like maybe Ron Jeremy's in there. I know he appears like in the last act, where he's in the crowd somewhere with the cops and everything like that. I think you have to pause the movie to really see him in there, but I know he's there somewhere. God damn it!
All right.
It's like, especially with Bill Murray, I have to wonder how much of his dialogue was scripted and how much of it was improvised.
Yep.
Because like with Robin Williams, you can almost guarantee majority of it's improvised, except for the ones that drive the plot. But
yeah, no, Robin Williams, see, the whole thing with him was give him direction.
Yeah,
don't give him a script,
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of doing nowadays with mumblecore, but that's a whole nother subgenre of movies.
Yep.
I don't know if you're... Yeah, do you know what mumblecore is?
I've never heard of mumblecore.
I only found out about it
sounds like a
recently,
ridiculous new version of techno. It's like hardcore, but less dedicated.
It's kind of like... Yeah, if you want to listen, that's fine, but you don't have to listen to it. It's kind of like... It's like electronic if it was really insecure about itself.
Oh my God.
No, that's not what mumblecore is.
The latest in teenage-inspired music.
It's like, it's really nervous and it's really just poor presentation. It's like, hey, we have this music, but you don't have to listen to it if that's not really your thing, but
Nice.
No, mumblecore is like a new style of like indie movie where it's like none of the dialogue is necessarily scripted. They just like, hey, here's the direction. Do whatever you want as long as it goes in that direction, kind of thing.
Right.
One of my favorite movies, Drinking Buddies, does this.
Okay.
It's actually a really funny movie, but that's, we're getting off topic now. Back to Ghostbusters.
Yes. So the car is awesome, though. That siren, like, you can't put that siren anywhere else. I'm sure it was just a random, okay, here's a siren that the car will make this sound. But no, if anyone these days hears that,
they're gonna think
and they know
Ghostbusters.
Like that's exactly,
But it's like even then, like there's so much, like so many things. Like if I heard this or saw this anywhere else, my first thought would be Ghostbusters. Like anything from the soundtrack, I would instantly recognize anywhere. Like even the more the introduction to the library, I would recognize if someone. I would love to have that introduction as I walk to the San Jose State Library. That'd be awesome. Just
man, no, they.
Just anywhere, I was like instantly go like, oh my god, it's the Ghostbusters. Like I've actually seen the ectoplasm car driving around before at Comic-Con, and it was amazing. It even had like one of those xenomorphs from Aliens on the window. It was
Nice.
great.
No, I've listened to dozens, if not hundreds, of songs, whether I'm at concerts or different places and all. And as soon as I hear a set of drums go, I'm like, this Ghostbusters. That's exactly.
In the neighborhood.
You don't even need the brass line that everyone knows it for. No, it's like no. You need a simple 2-note drum roll. And I'm there.
Like right now, I got that theme song stuck in my head. It's an epic, awesome theme song too.
Right?
And like that will never get old. I don't care.
I'm not even gonna lie. If I were making like, zombies have been a big craze for a number of years now. If I were influencing a zombie movie, the Ghostbusters theme would have to work its way in there, like
just something playing on the TV in the background or something.
No, you've got a character who's like pops the CD into the car stereo and blasts it as he mows through a crowd. Like,
don't give Adam Sandler ideas. He did that with Ice Ice Baby, and that's my boy.
You see, that just doesn't make any sense.
Well, it had Vanilla Ice in there.
It still doesn't make any sense.
None of the movie makes any sense. So then
exactly.
Anyway,
but I'm glad you still want to talk about it.
Mostly it's stories of dread and fear. Like, the campfire story? That's my campfire story.
Nice.
It started with a man named Adam Sandler.
And was followed by talking cars.
No, there's no need for follow-up. All I gotta say is, and he tried to make a comedy about pedophilia. Ooh! And then all the children would scream and run away from me, and then my parents were
and then the scout leaders are wondering how you got there and what you're doing there, and there are cops involved. It's not good.
The world has to know. Oh, fuck. No, just...
I have to hope that you become famous and not infamous. Because That's My Boy is a bad enough movie that I would hate to see you become so hated that it becomes like a PR campaign for people to go buy, own, and watch That's My Boy. Just because of how much you're despised. That would be terrible.
I got nothing to say to that.
So for that sake, I really gotta hope you stay being a good person, Michael.
Me too. Just full of Justin Bieber and stuff.
If you needed any other reason to not be Hitler, this is it.
Like, what was that trailer for St. Vincent we got? Where he goes, but I'm short, I can't defend myself. Well, so is Hitler. That's a horrible comparison.
Yes, exactly. I'm small, if you haven't noticed. So was Hitler. That's terrible!
It's like, you ever see that Craig Ferguson routine about Angelina Jolie being a husband stealer? Where he goes, it starts, saying Angelina Jolie is a husband stealer is like Hitler is a vegetarian. Yeah, it's true, but it's hardly the whole fucking story now, is it? We are way off topic. As you can tell, we're not taking this one very seriously.
Exactly.
We're just having fun.
So, the opening scene in the library it's fascinating because it really gets overlooked. You don't think about it after it happens.
But the old lady is never brought up again.
Yeah, they never bring up the old lady librarian again. They never show them go back to the library once they have the proto-bags or anything.
It's done in the game. The game does it.
Really?
Yeah, do you ever play the Xbox or like...
no.
Like Xbox 360? Yeah, the Xbox is like basically like the closest thing Ghostbusters 3 will ever get.
Alright.
But they do actually go back to the library. They do actually get the old lady,
nice,
which leads to a whole other series of events.
Okay.
So they do address it, kind of.
Well, good.
To a niche audience.
Yes. But it's this just... The scene itself of the librarian walking around, and like first she's putting a book away, just out of her vision, a number of books float past, and all. It's like, alright, it's supposed to be kind of spooky, it's kind of funny that she doesn't notice and all. And then like she starts walking and the card catalog drawers start opening. And at this point, we're sitting here going, man, so many kids today have no idea what that is. And they'll go to the library and be like, what's the thing with all the cards? And librarians will be like, ooh, it was this ancient artifact. You know?
It's like, I think the Honest Trailers made a jab at that, where it's like, kids, this is a library. This is something, this is like Wikipedia if you put it in several books.
Exactly. So it's like, you know... But they start opening, and I'm sitting there not remembering the scene because it's so overlooked. Thinking, okay, she's going to turn back, the doors are going to close, she's not going to see anything, and it's going to keep goofing around and be entertaining. And then the cards just start flying. And my thought is not, oh God, this is terrifying. My first thought is, wow, that's going to take a long time to put them all back.
It's also... No, you're right. It's also... knowing, it's especially being a psychology student that I am now, looking back at the Bill Murray psychology study just offends me on a whole new level now. Because I'm thinking, that is a horrible way to conduct a study. Your data is horribly skewed. The curve would be non-existent. And that's the worst thing about getting older, is the fact that you realize all the douchebags in the movie are 100% right.
Yep.
Like, the guy who kicks him out of college is perfectly valid for doing so.
Absolutely.
Even Peck, who is like the biggest dickwad in the movie, is completely right.
Yep.
When you really look at it, it is an incredible environmental hazard. When they shut it down, the city goes into fucking chaos.
Well,
doing what he did was still
shut it down.
And doing what he did was still stupid, but he was still right.
I mean, in the end, there are questions I still have, you know? They get back from this whole situation in the library to find out they're being kicked off the, you know, university premises. Why didn't they show the footage of the old woman? They had the camera the whole time. They never referenced that it's not picking anything up.
Fuck.
It seems like if you'd be like, excuse me, Mr. Dean, sir, evidence. He might have been like, oh, wow.
I'm more thinking is like, I'm more wondering what kind of house Ray had that he could sell to get all that fucking money. To buy a fucking, like, nearly abandoned firehouse.
That's nothing. He had to have be able to get the capital to build 4 backpack-sized, non-licensed nuclear accelerators. What the hell? I mean, completely I guess 80s money went further, but still.
Like, and rebuild an entire, hospital car, renovate a building, and 3 arcade machines.
Right?
And still afford Chinese. Right?
I love how he points out, you know, this Chinese food, this feast we're having here is the last of the petty cash. Man, what a time to tell everybody.
That's actually a good point. That would have been nice to know earlier, wouldn't it? It's like, and I guess we should talk a little about Sigourney Weaver. I didn't think, like, she's really hot in this movie. It's kind of weird saying that out loud.
Sigourney Weaver's amazing.
No, I love Sigourney Weaver, but this one it's like, wow, she's actually pretty sexy. And I think I made this joke to you while watching the movie. It's like, there's a part where the nerdy guy, as you point out, who's the only guy to get any action in either of the movies.
And he gets action in both movies.
Lucky bastard. And hot Sigourney 80s Weaver, too, so that's even better.
You know, like...
But either way, he walks in there, the room's like half exploding. You have Sigourney Weaver wearing no pants and that sexy little orange veil she's wearing. Like, her legs sprawled up on the chair. She says, are you the key master? And it's like, at some point, this was somebody's fantasy.
And for the last 30 years, it's been many more.
Exactly. He leaned to me and goes, is that your fantasy? And I was like, it is now. One day, it's gonna happen, goddammit. It's gonna happen. Someone's gonna come along and
be possessed by a demon dog and ask if you're the key master.
That's where imagination comes in, my friend. And the demolition, on the other hand, might take some creative working. You know, we can make it work.
Oh man, I am forgetting her name right now. I feel terrible. She's like the iconic woman of geek culture these days. It's the red hair. She's in the guild.
Oh, Felicia Hardy. No,
Felicia Day.
Felicia Day. Who's Felicia Hardy? I'm thinking about. I'm a totally different character.
Really? I'm like,
Felicia Hardy.
isn't
Wow,
it someone from like?
that's Spider-Man.
Yeah. I'm like, isn't that the black cat?
Yeah, that's a black cat.
Alright,
She
wow.
is conquering a section of geek subculture.
True. So Felicia Day, yeah, all these geek guys out there obsessing over her. You've got to realize that way before her was Sigourney Weaver.
Yep. You know, I actually have like an action figure I got from Comic-Con of Sigourney Weaver as Zool, like first,
All right.
like first up on the table. They're selling them at Mattel for kids.
Of course.
That was kind of like we were kind of joking around. Like after I realized this is a PG-13 movie, watch this movie now. We're just kind of like for kids at several points during the movie. Everyone's smoking, you know, for kids, and you know,
Exactly. It's the 80s.
Ray's getting a ghost blowjob, you know, for kids. It's
The 80s was this amazing...
magical time.
Yeah, the 80s was the longest decade in human history.
Where just blind
it's-
hedonism was perfectly okay.
Well, hey, oh yeah, you have to realize that the 80s started in about 1978 and lasted until around 1994.
Yeah, that's not.
And so for some strange cosmic reasoning,
kinda
this
started-
decade lasted 16 years.
It kind of started to die out after the first Die Hard came out. No pun intended. But
It did dwindle, but it lasted far longer.
we did
than
get some
it
amazing
should.
movies in the meantime. Like Commando is still one of my favorite 80s movies ever made. It is amazingly terrible. I love every second of it.
Yes.
And Predator. Come on, guys, it's a stupid movie. It's a smart, stupid movie, but it's still a stupid movie.
The 80s are full of fantastic, stupid movies.
It always makes me surprised when I see people get like angry when the new Predator movie comes out. It's like, oh, this movie sucks. The first one wasn't great either, guys.
I have talked with many film professors, film critics, and whatnot who have talked about how movies today just don't have the same heart they once did. And I honestly, I feel like all of these guys looked at classic movies, reached the 80s, and gave up. And I don't blame them per se, because while the 80s had some fantastically horrible movies, it would probably cause any sane man to give up hope for the film genre. But man,
It was if you're like us, like just watching like watching bad movies from time to time. It's an amazing era. Hello,
Right.
random person. I don't know why they're honking, but okay.
I think they want to be on film.
Well, too late for them. I already did like the camera spinning shit for As Above, So Below, so
Oh
No, so-
man, how bad was that?
it was pretty dumb. It was
Alright.
really dumb. Like I think I made a joke where it was like just making up how horrible the shaky cam was, and I did a lap around the car while shaking the camera just to demonstrate.
Awesome.
And made my entire audience puke at the same time while getting questioning looks from everyone standing, walking to their own
Excellent.
cars, wondering what the fuck is this man doing. Oh god, but
Wow.
that's like it's just like every time I see this movie, I just get a little happier. It's just one
Right,
of those rare movies. It's like up there with the Muppets for me.
Oh yeah.
And Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? It's like I don't care what mood I'm in. If I watch this movie, I'll feel better.
Yep.
It's just one of those movies. Like it's so hard to find a movie, especially in the '80s.
Right.
That like had characters like had that such good chemistry with each other,
Exactly.
and with such an original concept,
Yep.
and with surprisingly good for the time special effects.
Oh yeah.
They don't hold for shit now, but like actually practical effects for the most part. And of course, Bill fucking Murray. So it's like that's hard to find today. So back in the '80s, it's pretty spectacular. 'Cause no one does practical effects anymore, and that's really disappointing. But
Yeah.
back then, they went all out. Like even like I kind of wish I was the guy in the armchair. Arm number
Oh,
2.
man. Arm 2 or Arm 3?
Let's go with Arm 2 because I feel Arm 3 would get me arrested. So.
Yeah, but it's Sigourney Weaver.
Sorry to say it's worth it.
Maybe.
For those who have not noticed this particular part of the movie, the part where the arms reach out to like capture Sigourney Weaver, arm number 2 that comes out is totally copying a feel.
Whereas arm number 3 is coming up between her legs. So
And so like, I was like, for the rest of the scene, watch the porno spin-off, Ghost Humpers. which really adds whole new meaning to the theme song if you think about it.
Yes.
There's something strange in the neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Ghost humpers.
Don't cross the beam.
Streams. It's streams. Get it right.
Don't care either way, man. Don't cross them.
Pull out your sticks. Make them hard.
All right, so probably the biggest shock for us on this is there were actually previews.
Yeah, like I didn't know. I was like, not expecting trailers. I was caught totally unprepared. By the way, there's only like 5 people in this theater. What's wrong with you guys? It's Ghostbusters. Is something blinking behind me?
No, it's on the freaking screen.
Oh, we're down to 2 minutes. Commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hold on. Stay tuned. And we're back.
And we're back. Sorry about that. I
Oh,
forgot
man.
to clear some memory off the camera.
So, previews.
Yes, previews for
The only
Ghostbusters.
film-related thing here, yes.
Okay. I'm so tired of fucking subtitles here. Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. That's way too many goddamn syllables for a title.
On the one hand, I'm really getting tired of this trend. Let's take the last part of a series and break it up into more parts.
I mean, it made sense with Harry Potter.
Well, and honest, have you read the Hunger Games series?
I'm not.
Okay. There is a clean breaking point they can use, and I don't know if they will in the movie, but they could make it 2 parts, yes.
Okay.
But even still, like, you do a movie per book. Deal with it.
Tell that to Peter Jackson. The Hobbit? That's a 3-movie-er.
I think they're going for 4 now.
There's no way. There's no fucking way.
I'm pretty sure they're going for 4.
The movie's already filmed. I don't think they can stretch it out any longer.
Okay.
He said in disbelief. Watch next year. I'll be sitting here like, motherfucker, they did it.
Right? Like,
They made The Hobbit 4. God, we never do find out what happens to him after he goes in that ship, so maybe it could happen. I don't know. But
Exactly. So
that I don't know. I like the last 2 Hunger Game movies. This one, like,
yeah, no. In my opinion, the movies have consistently been of at least a similar quality to the books.
yeah. I mean, I never read the books.
I'm not a big fan of the book series. I'll admit. I like the movies more, but part of that is just in character design. I think that Katniss is a fascinating character, but a horrible hero in the books. Like, the entire time she's manipulated. I hate it. But anyways.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So-
And my problem with this movie is I'm worried it's going to be a standard rebellion movie. I was worried about that with the last one, too. This one looks like it's like... The whole point of the thing was, like, the kids were killing each other. That was kind of the whole point, dark turn of the concept. The second one is kind of less than such, because it's adults killing each other, which we've seen a lot. Now it's just like, now it's just Star Wars Episode 2. Not Episode 2, Episode... Let's do math. I can do math. Episode 5.
There you go.
I'm tired.
It's alright. This is why we don't let George Lucas teach kids math.
Because we taught by Jar Jar Binks. And then the whole population just plummets.
Lisa, no fractions!
Part of my soul just died. Because I'm a mathematician on the side. I tutored math for 3 years. Alright.
Misa, teach you logarithms!
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
Alright.
So, next one, we're both really excited for this one. Big Hero 6.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's... They're backing it, say, for the makers of Frozen and Wreck-It Ralph, and both of those were amazing.
I always thought Wreck-It Ralph was just okay.
I'm really hoping that this stands up to it,
Well, actually, this is based on a Marvel comic book.
Really?
Yeah, they don't say that in the trailer, but yeah, it's totally based off a Marvel comic book.
I've never read this comic book.
It's definitely one of the more obscure brands, which is why it's getting animated instead of being incorporated in the Marvel U.
Got it.
But, yeah, it looks really good from what I can tell so far. I mean, you and I are both really big fans of animation, so it's one of those things.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. It looks like, at least if nothing else, the animation is going to be spectacular.
Yes.
So I'm excited for that alone. If your schedule ever frees up, we'll go see it. But,
Yeah, we'll see.
we'll see what happens. And this one, again, animation, both very interested in it. Book of Life.
Yes.
The story keeps changing depending on which trailer I watch. I'm not sure.
It is, and it's gonna be a unique movie. I can definitely tell that much. Again, I've got this, fascination with supernatural stuff. Mike Mignolia's writing, and you've got, Ghostbusters here and whatnot. I think that this could be really cool. Dia de los Muertos is a great resource of legends and whatnot that have not been touched on by a lot of film.
That's true.
So
I think Pixar's doing one now, though.
Exactly, but there's a lot of stuff here that they can use that hasn't been used before in major films.
I'm just okay with anything involving Ron Perlman as a villain, and like anything that I'm instantly sold.
Anything with Ron Perlman
In general, but as a villain, he's always like ups the ante because think about it, he was Slade in Teen Titans.
Yeah.
He was Emil Blonsky in the Incredible Hulk game.
Yep.
He's the villain in this one. He's also the villain in the and one of the villains in Adventure Time.
While not the villain, he's definitely not the good guy in Pacific Rim.
That's true. That's true. Even then, he's hamming up in that movie. But,
he's great.
He also lives if you watch the end credits.
Yes. Where's my shoe?
But anyway, like I mentioned a point in the trailer, like what annoyed me about the trailer is like Channing Tatum is in this movie. He's the only one I thought he was the only one not trying not to have an accent. And then as I've said that, Ice Cube pops up on the screen, and he's clearly not trying at all. So like, never mind. Oddly enough, both in Jump Street.
It's awesome in my opinion. Channing Tatum's character amongst this midst of fantastic really culturally influenced stuff going on is clearly the white guy. He's not trying to have an accent, and no one's trying to say he should.
And yet Ice Cube in this one is also white.
He's a golden cloud guy. I don't know exactly what he's supposed to be representing, but I'm looking forward to finding out. But I still
feel like it's a little racist.
Probably is, yes.
It's like when they cast a bulldog as the frog in Epic.
I still haven't seen Epic.
It's not very good.
I need to go see it.
It's not very good. The animation is gorgeous. It's not very good otherwise.
Well, I'll see it for the animation then.
I mean, it's about as good as Rio 2.
Hey, as our commenter said, that was a sheer and total work of genius. The kind of cultural brilliance will never be seen for another 340 years or whatever it is in the Mayan cycle. And
did you memorize his comment?
No,
I thought you were like directly
I haven't read his
it.
comment.
I thought you directly quoted it, like read it and just like put it to heart. Like, how dare you, random commenter?
I'm not gonna lie.
Revenge shall be mine.
To go back and memorize it as like a monologue, and just one day come to you and be like, Michael, you need to realize something about Rio 2 here.
It's like, I got a comment not too long, I think in the Scary Movie 5 review, where it says, like, the guy on the right looks like Seth MacFarlane. Guess who the guy on the right is?
Oh.
I'm like, okay. Now I guess I'm going to go to Hollywood and see if I can get away with writing a Family Guy episode. It's like, why did your voice change? Shh. This will be the funniest episode in years. That's when Peter Griffin will look at the camera and say, "This is really dumb. Why are you still watching this show? I want to move on to other projects." Then Seth MacFarlane send me a thank you card, and we'll be buds.
Yes. So
it will trip people out in bars.
All right, next preview. What do we got?
Dumb and Dumber 2.
All right, as I said, there are some Jim Carrey movies that I really don't get so excited about.
You don't like Dumb and Dumber?
Dumb and Dumber has never been on my top list.
Really? Because even I kind of like Dumb and Dumber.
There were moments where it was great and moments where I'm just like, really, guys? Oh, this is painful to watch. And this is one of those movies that I really, really don't want to watch this movie. But I kind of do.
Torn feelings.
Yes.
What am I doing?
There's
Stop,
part of me
you're
just like,
tearing me apart.
It's horrible. It's destructive. No one with culture should go see Oh, but it's a scheduled train wreck.
I don't know, like I said this before in other reviews, I just like Jeff Daniels. I think like he's actually making a legitimate character out of this. So from that perspective, I kind of just want to see it for Jeff Daniels. Like I kind of think Jim Carrey's out of his comedy prime, to be honest. I think he should go more into dramatic roles. I think he's probably be better off with that right now.
I like some of his dramatic roles.
Oh, I mean,
you know?
A Beautiful Us, the Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is still an amazing film.
Oh, it's great.
Number 23 was just okay, but
I really like The Majestic.
I didn't see The Majestic.
Okay.
Which one's The Majestic?
It's complicated.
Okay.
Go look it up.
I'll look it up. I'm intrigued now.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's good. It's not exactly a pure total work of genius, but man, I really like it.
All right, fair enough. Then we have this is the Elvis movie, isn't it?
The Identical.
The Identical.
Okay, so Ghostbusters, for its 30th anniversary, comes to theaters for 1 week. We're coming up midway through that week here. The Identical comes out Friday. You want to talk about putting a preview right up against the button here.
I didn't even hear about this movie until I saw this trailer.
That being said, I'm planning to see this movie.
Are you gonna have time?
I'm gonna make time sometime this weekend. Like, it's definitely like it's on my to-do list, and I don't know where it's gonna be because I have so much going on.
Just go to a late night showing.
There's an awesome concert going on Friday. There's a opera I'm hoping to go to on Saturday, and I'm gonna try and fit this movie somewhere into the weekend.
Are weekends like the old days you're free?
No. I mean, there's late at night and early in the morning. First showing of the day I can rarely do.
I'm trying to think for future schedules. So,
yes, it's...
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, normally it's weekends, unfortunately.
That's fine. I can make time.
But anyways, you've got... The premise of the story is you have a pair of identical brothers who their parents give up one of them because they feel it's, the right thing to do, and it's, to give the kid his best chance, and everything. And so one of the brothers grows up to be this, like, pop icon. And the other one, who's, identical, it's kind of a Prince and a Pauper story.
Okay.
But
the trailer did not give that at all.
No, the trailer does not give that impression at all. Like, so I'm excited to see what they do with the movie. It definitely looks like it has that kind of 50s influence, which is a big deal to me. That's my jam right there. Is
I'm more of a Nat King Cole fan myself, but
okay, yeah, no, I like Elvis, Johnny Cash, Chubby Checker,
the classics.
Exactly.
Classic.
So,
all right, yeah, it's one of those movies like I never would have guessed what you just told me based on the trailer. Like, it looked completely different.
It looks like you've got this one guy leading a double life, because they do have the same guy playing both of the brothers. And it's... Anyways, if you don't go see it, we'll talk about it during some other review.
Fair enough.
But if you're working this weekend, like, I'll tell you when I figure out what showing I'm going to. If you can go, cool. If not, oh well.
So far, I got, like, nothing this weekend, so...
I figure you might be working.
I know, but so far I have no gigs this weekend.
All right.
So far, that might change in the next couple days.
Most likely at this point, it would either be late Friday or, like, first showing of the day Sunday.
Let me know on Sunday what you're doing.
All right,
we'll go from there. And then last one we got was St. Vincent, which is the Bill Murray movie. And I don't care if it sucks. I'm going to see it.
Yeah. No, it's Bill Murray.
I mean, it's Melissa McCarthy.
It's got Bill Murray teaching a young boy how to fight. I am going to see this movie.
It's like on one hand, it's like, oh, Bill Murray. On the other hand, Melissa McCarthy. That's a really hard 50-50. Because I don't hate Melissa McCarthy. She just has a tendency to make horrible movies.
She has made a number of terrible choices recently in movies.
I saw Tammy. That was terrible. Patrick really liked it, and I kind of feel bad because I really let it out on him.
I'm hoping this will be an improvement, because she's done stuff before that I really enjoyed.
Like Bridesmaids?
She can be funny.
If she's not being if she can just tone it down. That's my big problem. Like, a lot of the actors, like, same ways, like, you don't have to be loud, obnoxious, to wave your arms around to be funny. That's like Bill Murray rarely relies on that.
It's true. No, Bill Murray is the king of deadpan, and that's what he does. For a lot of actors and actresses who are...
Talentless.
No, not talentless.
Will Ferrell.
Okay. I was going to go with bigger, like John Goodman.
Okay.
John Goodman, John Candy, Chris Farley, especially Chris Farley if you look at his Saturday Night Live career. The answer of I'm big, so I'm going to be bigger than big becomes this, great method for comedy. And here and there, it can be funny.
Like John Goodman makes it work.
If I'm telling you about how you're going to wind up living in a van down by the river, then yes, being over the top is great. But you can't make it all you are.
I agree.
And I think that if she tones it down a bit, she is an amazing actress. And she is a great entertainer. She's, just... hopefully needs some better roles.
I want to like her. I want to like her so bad, but I've seen The Heat. I did not like The Heat. And I saw Tammy, which is so bad it made me drop the C word.
Whoa.
Yes.
Jeez,
and I hate that word. Saying something.
I mean, that's not like Vampire Academy bad, but it's bad.
Like, that's how much I hated Tammy. I really hated that much. And I made a disclaimer before the review started, like, alright, I apologize in advance. But Tammy is a... But
we don't need to go there.
I'm not. I'm stopping there.
We're gonna keep this PG.
So all the fucks and shits I've said at this point are totally okay by the 80s standards, apparently.
We'll add in a pecker joke and it'll be fine.
I actually never caught that joke until this viewing. It was like, as Mr. Pecker said, it's peck. And that's another thing. That's another thing I always thought kind of weird. Is the weird religious undertones in this movie. Did you notice?
Right.
Like, the mayor just calls in, like, an archbishop for no apparent reason.
Exactly.
There's, like, a weird, like, rabbi club hanging outside the building, which I never noticed until this viewing.
If you walk around New York City, these people are everywhere.
Have you been in New York City before?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so you have more experience than I do.
No, I actually did. I spent a week in New York City. I don't know that I'd ever want to live there. 10 million people in that close of proximity, it's an awful lot of people. I don't know how well I'd handle it. But no, it's fascinating because there are all these, it's these little things throughout the movie, but at the same time, that's how it is in New York City. Like, they're all over the place, but they're not all in your face about it. I remember walking through... we were in Manhattan, and it's the week between Christmas and New Year's that I'm there, so it's kind of cold, but as we're walking along, there's these pair of Hasidic Jews, who compliment me on my coat.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is the best compliment on a coat I've ever received, because man, like, for one thing, I guess it definitely, the girl I was dating at the time noted that it seemed like they and I were all wearing the same coat. But, which did make it kind of funny. But, like, people don't stop and compliment you in New York. And I don't look Jewish. So for them to stop and compliment me on my coat was pretty cool.
It's like, what's that Patton Oswalt routine where it says, every time all my friends in New York say, you gotta come to New York, man, you gotta come to New York, and that's where it's at, man, you gotta come into New York. I now know why they wanted me to come to New York, because after about a month in New York, you're yelling at the street tops going, I want someone to, it's like, I want someone to suffer and be miserable, and I want to know that I was responsible. And that's New York.
Yes. So, no, I didn't. New York City was fascinating. I stayed in a neighborhood called Astoria, which is in Queens. It's a little Greek neighborhood.
Okay.
And apparently I was informed by the girl I was dating at the time and her family who had brought me out there that New York City has so many people, you can't talk to your neighbors.
Really?
If you try to be friendly with everyone, you'll never get out of the building,
That's true.
People ignore each other, and that's the way it is. And I think on Manhattan that may be true. Okay. Or in some areas of New York City that may be true. In a Greek neighborhood, if you don't talk to people, something's wrong with you. And I happen to have friends who are Greek, and I know their families well, and so I knew this. And so by the end of the week, I was friends with about a dozen little old Greek ladies who all wanted to set me up with their granddaughters, despite the fact that I was there with the girl I was dating. And I'm like, no, I'm taken. I'm sorry. I'm going home. California. Which, of course, just adds to the, ooh, California. Yeah, and they're all asking who the guy whose apartment I'm staying in is, which is the girl I was dating's brother. And needless to say, the relationship did not work out. But I'm pretty sure now, years later, if I went back to Astoria, I'd reconnect with those Greek women in no time. Like, they would, just be like, you're back! And I'd be like, hey! And they'd be like, my granddaughter! And I'd be like, I'm dating someone else now! So, it'd be a problem, but...
I want to go to this Greek sector now, because I'm kind of curious.
They're really cool people. So, it's like with any culture, you gotta learn how to interact.
That's basically Comic-Con for me, where you just walk in and it's like, oh my god, my family is here, and and you go into lines and it's not even boring. You start just talking to people around you. It's like, hey, right. Spider-Man, hey, Deadpool, here are my cards. Let's chat about comic books for hours while you wait for all day to get to this fucking panel.
Yep.
But just no shit like that. Even then, it's like there's no jerks at Comic-Con. It's the same kind of thing. You're like, they immediately...
I really find that hard to believe that there are no jerks.
Well, except Twilight fans. Twilight fans are always the worst.
Well, honestly, there are some jerk comic book fans out there.
There are, but I've been to Comic-Con like 3 or 4 times. I've never met a jerk there.
All right. It might have something to do with the fact that you're a white dude, but still.
Pull that card, why don't you?
I'm just saying.
But it's like, no, we're all there. We're all in ridiculous costume. We treat each other like family. It's kind of
right.
That's really pretty much how it works. We all know we're there for the same stupid reason. So let's be stupid together. It's kind of the way it works. And then, unless it comes to free stuff, or like buying exclusive, in which case we're vicious animals. That's like the predator instinct.
No one can blame you for that.
It's like, no, it's my portal gun. Get your own. Whack. I remember I got in a fight, first year I went there, I got in a fight with someone over a autographed t-shirt. Nice. I won. And I almost beat him with my Riddler staff to do it.
Wow.
It was plastic, so it wouldn't actually hurt him. But
trick is to break it and then use the shards.
That's why you don't go to Comic-Con.
You see a beer bottle, I see a shiv. No, with my luck, the bottle would shatter. I'd have about a half inch of bottleneck still in my hand, and I'd be like, this did not work out how I planned.
Eyeballs, man. Eyeballs, man. Perfect. You got the
maybe you shouldn't be going to Comic-Con. Jeez.
Hey, you fucking started. You see a beer bottle, I see a shiv. You're judging me on my war tactics. Different boats for different folks, man. All I'm saying is...
When you just go naval.
You see just a bottle handle. I see an eye gouger. Different boat.
It's clearly because you went and saw Sin City.
Of course. Actually, a guy's eyeball does hang out from a movie.
Well, and you got the other part.
Oh, yeah.
Marv pulls the guy's eye out,
That's true. But he did that with his bare hands. I bet you quite counts the same way.
Marv is a living weapon who cannot die. I'm pretty sure he's the equivalent, if you've ever played any sort of MMO where you reach the higher levels and then just for fun you go help someone out in a level 2 dungeon.
Just kill
and everything's coming at you. You're like, oh, this is great. This is good. And blah.
I tried World of Warcraft once. I got confused. And then my computer overheated and I lost my motivation.
That'll do it. All right.
I think we're done.
We've been going for about an hour. Yeah, I think we're done.
I think we're done. So, yeah, that was our fun little review of Ghostbusters. Basically, it's us dicking around like we usually do.
If you haven't seen it, go see it.
If you haven't seen it, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, rethink life choices. If you have not seen Ghostbusters, but you are still watching this YouTube channel, God bless you.
We can't help you. It's kind of what we're saying. We give up on you. Although, keep watching, subscribe.
Meanwhile, some deranged preteen who's watched all the videos is like, Ghostbusters, huh? And goes and watches because it all makes sense now.
Kind of. I'm trying to like piece that together in my head.
They just got like printouts of screen captures from all of the reviews with like red pieces of yarn going around their room.
Because of course that's like conspiracy theorist 101. You have to have red yarn.
Always red yarn.
Spider-Man disobeyed that rule. He used red tape.
This is a problem. You see why he struggles with these whole remake concept.
Yeah, I know. You see why the Spider-Man 2 did not do very good on Rotten Tomato? That's why. Red tape.
Exactly. If it said he'd used webbing, everyone would have been really confused. May would have caught on a lot faster.
Oh, we all know she fucking knows.
Of course she knows.
Like, have you ever seen the Cinema Sins version of that movie? Every time that she has, like, Aunt May's not-so-subtle nod that I know you're Spider-Man, the guy just goes,
Awesome.
right. So we're done.
Take care.
Let's see, what do we got next? What comes out next week? Oh, apparently we got the Identical movie.
The Identical comes out this weekend.
We may or may not see.
Otherwise, there's not a lot coming out that looks really worthwhile.
I'm gonna check. I think there's like one or two that we'll probably go see.
Clearly, you just need to go see Expendables 3.
We did that.
You did that? All right.
We did that like 2 weeks ago.
I've been out of town. I don't know what's going on anymore.
What's wrong with you, man? You're a little behind.
I don't know. I need a drink.
Not here, you're not. Wow, Identical is getting panned.
Really?
10%.
Awesome. It's gonna be terrible.
There really isn't much. There's a really shitty anime movie coming out, I guess. And we got The Longest Week with Jason Bateman. So, and wherever the hell God Help the Girl is.
Yep.
There's really nothing coming out next week. So,
exactly. So, see you in 2 weeks.
I'll see you when I see you.